Hi, and welcome to this episode of John's Model Kit Review. In today's fun review video, we're going to be reviewing a model kit accessory. This is the 1/48 scale Fast Fix R-2800C late version. This is a 3D printed engine. This is printed in the USA. I have placed a link to purchase this engine in the description of this video. In this review, we'll talk about the kits that it's designed to fit. We'll also talk about the quality and what modifications are needed to install this on your model. Looking at the detail on the engine itself, it looks outstanding. This is a one-piece engine. It incorporates oil lines and push rods and spark plug wires. When this was shipped to my house, it was well packaged and protected. This engine was used in several different aircraft, including the P-47M, as in Mike, and N, as in November. It was also used in the late model Corsairs, the F4U7 Corsair, and the F4U5 Corsair. I have test fitted this engine in 3 different kits. The modifications are very similar to get this to work with any of those kits. The first of those kits is the Academy P47N. That's the specific kit I'll use in this review to show what modifications that I needed to make to the kit parts to make this engine work. And we'll go over those modifications in just a minute here. Kits that I know this engine will work in are the Hasegawa P47M, as in Mike. It will also work in the Hasegawa F4U5 and F4U7 Corsairs. It will also work in the Revell F4U7 Corsair. 2 other kits that this engine will most likely work in with minor modifications to the kit parts are the Revell P47N and Tamiya P47M kits. It does come on a backing plate that is easily cut away from the kit engine. It took me about 5 seconds with a sharp razor blade to trim the backing plate off of the engine. Looking at the engine that comes in the Academy kit, this is almost a cartoon representation of the R-2800. In addition, it has the wrong crankcase for this version of the R-2800. And the fast frames replacement is a definite accuracy upgrade and just a huge improvement in detail. To mount the engine to the Academy kit, we had to modify several of the kit parts. The first thing I did was to drill out the prop opening to fit the engine output shaft. You can see the engine output shaft here, and we're just going to slip the prop over that. The next thing we're going to do is take part C28, and that's the back row of cylinders and the spacer behind that, and we're going to remove 3.5 millimeters from the surface that mounts to the firewall of the kit. That's the area with the paint scraped off in this photo. We're also going to go to the firewall of the kit, and we're going to cut the tabs from the top and bottom of the front fuselage disc so that the spacer will still mount over it. Once we've modified part C28, we're going to use that as a spacer for the new engine. There are 2 magneto housings on the top of the engine. In between those is a rectangular box, and you want that rectangular box facing directly upwards on the kit. If you've gotten the dimensions right on all of these parts, once the cowl is mounted, the prop sticks out just a little bit and clears the cowl. Once it is seated down on the output shaft of the engine, you can see that in this photo here. After applying glue to the spacer and the engine, I would suggest placing the outer cowl over that and making sure the alignment of everything is spot on. But these are the only modifications that I had to make to the kit parts to get this new engine from Fast Fix mounted. I, for one, am super excited to have this replacement engine available, especially for the Academy kit, as the engine was such a weak point. And this one-piece engine is so much easier to use than the multi-piece resin replacement engines that had previously been available. I highly recommend this product, and it's just a great way to dress up your radial aircraft engines. Well, I'd love to know what you guys think. If any of you out there have used a 3D printed engine or any of the 3D printed details that are coming out now, please feel free to share in the comment section below. As always, I hope you found this video entertaining and informative, and until next time, model on.